You're not lazy, and you're not unmotivated either. What's really happening, and no one has told you this yet, is that your brain is sabotaging you without you even realizing it. That's right. The smartest organ in your body is literally keeping you stuck in a routine of stagnation, comfort, and self-sabotage. And the worst part? It thinks it's protecting you. Ironic, right? But hold on, this isn't your fault. And the solution isn't becoming a robot who's motivated 24/7. The real solution lies in understanding how your brain works and using its flaws against it. Because yes, there's a way to beat this silent sabotage. And it starts with tiny shifts, so small your brain won't even notice until it's too late. And by then, you're already in motion. In this content, you're going to discover why simple tasks feel so hard, how comfort became your most subtle enemy, and how to use mental tricks to build momentum, real motivation, and discipline without suffering. This isn't feel-good talk. This is applied science with strategy. And if you think you've tried everything but still feel stuck, it's because the key was never willpower. It was knowing where to turn it. There's something you need to understand once and for all. You're not lazy. You learn to act like you are. And the wildest part? It became a habit. Just like brushing your teeth or scrolling your feed before bed. Contrary to what you've been told, laziness isn't part of your personality. It's just a repeated pattern fueled by a brain that, honestly, just wants to stay comfortable. It avoids discomfort like the devil avoids the cross. And that includes starting anything that seems like too much effort. Ever noticed how you freeze when something feels too big? It's like staring at a 50-step staircase and thinking, maybe I'll just sit on the first step. That's not real laziness. That's your brain flipping on defense mode, trying to protect you from what it thinks will hurt, and tossing you straight into procrastination's arms. When you say you're unmotivated, what you really want is to avoid a beginning that feels heavier than it actually is. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change it. What you need right now isn't more willpower, it's clarity. Clarity that this behavior is just an automatic response, not a lifelong sentence. Avoidance has become as reflexive as yawning when you wake up. But what if you started reprogramming that? What if, instead of fighting the habit of laziness, you use your brain's own mechanics to your advantage? With tiny steps, simple routines, and changes so subtle your brain doesn't even notice? You know that mental block that makes you feel stuck? Like there's an invisible wall between you and what you need to do? The truth is, it has nothing to do with laziness. It has everything to do with how your brain perceives the size of a task. When it sees something big, complicated, or vague, it triggers an internal alarm that screams, danger, too much effort ahead. And just like that, you freeze. It's not weakness. It's biology doing its best to keep you comfortable. If you've ever said, I'm going to get my finances in order, but didn't even open your banking app, then you've lived this exact moment. Broad tasks are intimidating because your brain can't picture where to begin. It's like walking into a pitch-dark room and not knowing where the light switch is. That's when ambition becomes the enemy. Trying to change everything at once turns the goal into a mental monster too big to tame. And that's the perfect setup for procrastination to grow and feast on your time. But there's a way to outsmart your brain's alarm system. Break your goal into tiny, ridiculously small steps. Instead of read a book a week, think, read 5 pages today. Now your brain goes, that's it? Okay, I can handle that. And that's where the magic lives in the micro start. When the task feels light, the action comes faster. Believe it, the secret isn't doing a lot. It's starting with a little and letting the rest flow. There's a silent mistake that kills dreams right at the start. Thinking you have to do everything at once. And listen, this isn't your fault. Society loves to romanticize the just go do it mentality, like it's easy to jump out of bed and become the best version of yourself overnight. But your brain? Poor thing, it doesn't work that way. It freezes in the face of overwhelming ambition. It craves comfort and safety. So when ambition shows up without strategy, the brain goes on high alert. Danger, too much effort. The result? You shut down. What was meant to be change turns into guilt. So hear me out. The solution was never about doing more. It's about doing less the right way. Imagine you want to write a book. Thinking about 300 pages? That's suffocating. But thinking about writing one single sentence today? That's calming. You want to get your life in order? You don't need to become a productivity guru overnight. Just start by organizing one drawer. That's not too little. That's everything. Because when the step is small, your brain doesn't panic. It moves. It says, I can do this. It cooperates. It leans in. It whispers, let's try. Tiny steps build massive transformations, even if they seem invisible at first. It's like planting a seed and trusting it'll break through the soil. You can't see it, but the process has already begun. Trading everything now for a little today. That's what separates the ones who try from the ones who transform. And with every small win, your brain gets the message. This is safe. And that's when the habit starts forming. That's when a simple, powerful, almost automatic routine begins to take over your day. Before you even realize it, have you ever wondered why some people seem to get so much done with so little effort? The answer lies in a secret weapon almost no one teaches properly: routine. But not just any routine. Simple, light, almost silly small routines that completely transform your behavior. Your brain is a master of repetition. It loves what it already knows. And if you feed that system with healthy habits without needing willpower every day, it starts pushing you forward on autopilot. Want to see it in action? Leave your sneakers by the bed and you increase your chances of working out in the morning by 70%. Lay out your workout clothes the night before, and your body starts treating it like brushing your teeth. Your brain doesn't want to think, it wants to react. And when you build an environment that favors action, motivation becomes irrelevant. Laziness loses ground when everything is obvious. The secret isn't to have discipline all the time. It's to minimize how often you even need it. These microsystems get you moving before you have time to come up with excuses. And this doesn't just apply to health. Want to be more productive? Start with a simple ritual. Coffee plus headphones plus instrumental music for 5 minutes before you begin working. That triggers a signal in your brain. It's time to focus. Create patterns that make things easier instead of relying on brute force. Because in the end, the difference between those who get things done and those who just keep planning, it's this. Doers make things easy. Planners keep trying to make it look epic. Have you noticed how the hardest part isn't doing, it's starting? That exact moment between thinking and acting is where most people get stuck. That's where procrastination whispers, you can do it later, and just like that, your brain accepts the invitation to comfort. But there's a powerful technique that literally hacks this mental loop in under 2 minutes. Simple, practical, almost magical. Commit to doing the task for just 2 minutes. Just 2. No pressure, no impossible goals, no drama. Want to write? Open a notes app and type for 120 seconds. Want to exercise? Put on your workout clothes and stretch for 2 minutes. Want to meditate? Sit and breathe. That's it. Here's what happens. Once you start, momentum kicks in. The brain is already in motion, and resistance starts to fade. The 2-minute rule is like tricking your own brain, offering it what feels like minimal effort. But that in practice unlocks the beginning of any action. And let's be real, starting is 80% of the battle. The coolest part? You don't have to continue if you don't want to. You can stop after those 2 minutes. But guess what? 9 times out of 10, you won't. Because inertia has been broken, momentum has kicked in, and your brain realizes it's not that hard after all. It's like giving a little push to a still bicycle. Once that first wheel turns, it starts moving on its own. And that's exactly how habits are built. Through small beginnings that, when repeated, become the entry point to much deeper behavioral change. Here's something most people don't talk about, but it makes all the difference. Your brain loves rewards. It's like an excited kid. It works way better when it knows there's a little gift waiting at the end. And no, it doesn't have to be anything big. A hot cup of coffee after studying. 5 mindful minutes of scrolling after finishing a task. An episode of your favorite show after a workout. Small rewards create pleasure linked to action. And pleasure, my friend, is the fuel of lasting habits. You know that satisfying feeling of getting something done? That's more than just psychological, it's chemical. Pure dopamine. And the more you associate productive actions with real rewards, the more your brain learns. Hey, this feels good. Let's do it again. That's why rewards aren't luxury, they're strategy. They close the loop. They turn effort into satisfaction. And that reinforces behavior. And yes, this even applies to the small stuff. Answering an email, studying for 10 minutes, doing the dishes. The key is to create a system that fuels your habit. Like, if I do this, I get that. It's like negotiating with your brain. And over time, it stops resisting and starts cooperating. Procrastination loses its grip when action becomes associated with pleasure. And this, rewarding small steps, is how consistency is built. Because in the end, discipline isn't born from obligation. It's born from the desire to repeat what feels good. Now tell me, how many times have you felt like you could do more, but something invisible kept pulling you back? How many times did you blame yourself, thinking it was laziness, when really it was just your brain craving comfort? From this moment on, you have no more excuses. You've learned the game. You've seen that massive goals only intimidate, that the secret lies in simple routines, small steps, and that procrastination dies the moment action begins. So, what are you going to do today? What habit can you start right now, even if it's just for 2 minutes? What small reward will turn effort into pleasure? Your life won't change in giant leaps. It changes through tiny, consistent choices, repeated day after day. And the real question is, will you keep letting the impulse for comfort control you? Or will you finally take the wheel and master your mind? If this content hit home for you, if it sparked something inside, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because there's so much more coming your way. And if you're serious about real, lasting change, this is your starting point. The time to flip the script is now. And guess what? Your brain will try to sabotage you again. The difference is, now you know how to win.